I almost took a bite out of little Yuri's head.
I don't think that would have tasted very good.
No, it was just the shot.
Ah.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode. And it's, what is today's date? Tomorrow's the 17th.
Yeah.
So this is going to be out on like the 18th or the 19th.
Somewhere in there.
You know, plus or minus like a week.
Give or take a day or so.
So we just want to let you know that we're glad that you're here. This is my introductory shot of my new glasses.
Yeah, look at those.
The blue ones are gone.
Wow. How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good. I like them. I can actually see a little better. So everyone, make your comments.
I can actually see a little better.
Well,
that's what matters most.
Let's see if my thoughts change, if my vision has gotten better. Let's see how much sharper my...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You follow me now?
Yeah, maybe you'll have better advice since you got better glasses and
we'll never know.
Have better vision. Maybe it won't even be 20/20 in hindsight. It's 20/20 vision from the jump.
That's right.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the theme?
What's the theme today? What are we going to be testing your new vision on? Theme I have today is still finding its name. But essentially, it's just like being your truest self, standing up for yourself. There's probably a crafty name.
So let's see where we roll, and then you'll post the name.
Yeah, but it's mostly like standing up for yourself, like just Well,
I think that's very good. We all should stand up for ourselves.
I know, and we've had some, advocating for yourself and things like that in the past, but hey, it's one of life's common problems.
Let's see what you got.
Okay, let's get into it then.
Number one. Yeah.
Hello, all. Longtime listener, first time writing in. I apologize in advance. To the meat and potatoes. So my boyfriend, 38, Aaron, and I, 32, have been together for 2 years now. Everything has been great and we communicate well most of the time. But there's one issue that we haven't been able to figure out. And that's the fact that I have a cat. I've had him for about 7 years. Aaron has expensive furniture and doesn't want to risk a cat ruining it if we move in together. Understandable. I've suggested possibly putting a glass protective topper on the tables and that I would maintain claw covers to prevent the cat from scratching. But we're still at a standstill. His compromise has been that the cat would just live in the guest bedroom and only that room. But I don't find that to be fair. We keep circling around this without any resolutions, and it's driving me insane. I love Aaron, and I see a future with him. But this is our Alamo. He doesn't understand what it's like to own a pet and claims I'm choosing mine over him. I want to move forward with our relationship, move in together, and hopefully get married one day. But it almost feels like he's using the cat as a ploy to not move in together. What do you think would be the best course of action? I would appreciate any advice. Ideal outcome would be that we find a way to either come to a compromise and move forward. Additional info. His mom hates cats, and upon first meeting me, asked if I had any. She then looked at Aaron and said, "You don't have any cats, right? Let's keep it that way." She's very involved in his decor and will constantly buy things for him.
We got some enmeshment here.
That's
Well, let's...
something.
Should we take one thing at a time? Let's take the cat. let's get rid of the cat. It's too easy. I'm not a cat person.
I love cats.
However, we've had cats.
Yeah, we've had our fair share.
We had Sweetheart. What was we had another cat other than Sweet. Oh, I got Smokey, and I had my mom. I got my mom that cat, whatever that beast.
Toto or whatever she called it.
Toki. So, I get where Aaron's coming from, especially, like we had Holly for 17 years. We lost Holly, last year. And I thought I would go back and replace Holly pretty quick. And I just said,
Nope.
New carpeting, cleaning my house, no more animals. I've been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand this, that he's such a part of your life, this little kitty, and he's 7 years old. And, I don't know what Aaron can do to, and some people will say, decline the cat is cruel.
It is. It's very cruel.
It's cruel to the animal.
Yeah,
and
they don't really do that anymore.
And if it's an outside cat or an inside cat, and if that makes a difference, but this is a personal thing that you can't go to Aaron and say, Aaron, me or the cat.
I mean, you're kind of already there though, to be honest. I think when you commit to an animal, like I hope that people are committing to that animal for that animal's life. Your cat's only 7. Your cat, realistically, if it's 7, could live another 20 years.
9 lives.
I mean, so what are you going to do?
How many have they used up already?
Not live with Aaron for 20 years to put a cat in a little guest bedroom that's the only room that cat gets?
That's not a plan.
That's not fair. I think you're offering very reasonable compromises of, I'll do glass protectors. I'll put caps on the claws. The cat won't be able to scratch at all. You're giving very reasonable compromises. And honestly,
how about making
Aaron does not seem interested.
How about make the cat an outside cat?
That's not a thing.
Really?
That's not a thing.
We see Junior every day. He's doing
Junior
fine.
goes inside at night, and that's not a thing.
So we're going to back off and say we don't have an answer for you?
No, I think Aaron's got to go. At this point, it really is Aaron or the cat. You're offering compromises. You're offering solutions. He's still saying no. It's not even an allergy.
What happens if they find another home for the cat?
Why? You love the cat. The cat is perfect with you.
But what happens if that's a compromise? We find another owner for the cat.
I think that's a shitty way to treat an animal that you agreed to take on.
Wait. Why is it a shitty way? You find a wonderful home for the cat. The cat will be able to have run of a house.
If you really think this guy is worth it, then sure, you could try that. I would never get rid of my animal for a boyfriend of 2 years.
For a dude?
I mean, try living together first. If you want to give your cat to your parents for 6 months and move in with Aaron and see how it really goes, sure. But I wouldn't. I would not want this relationship.
That's a fair go.
Okay. And then, it does work out. You love living together. Your cat, you're done. Well, you're done with the cat. And you're not going to get a cat again. No pets. I mean, you have to look at the bigger picture. If you're a cat person and you want to have a cat, you won't have a cat again with this person.
That is correct. And that's something that you have to decide. Is it this cat, or is there going to be more cats in your life? And that's if that's something you want to reserve the right for, then dude's got to go.
Yeah, I just don't see this being sustainable.
Yeah, well, I get it. I mean, look, I may want to be with the person.
Change it out for dog, though. Like, you're not a cat person, so you can't really rationalize with this one. Maybe
I don't want a dog.
So you're just not, don't come to dad for pet advice.
I don't, I mean, you're trying to make it possible to keep the cat. And I think that you both have to agree on a solution that works for both of you. And that's up to you guys. And you're going to have to really weigh out your options. But if you want to have a life together, you guys are going to have to work through or navigate through decisions like this to make them work. And that's really, it's not about the cat. It's about navigating the crossroad. And can we get through this? Can we agree on it? Can we, can you become friends with the cat? I don't know if you can, but can you live without him? I don't know if you can, if you want to. So you guys are going to really have to come up to say, how are we going to make this work? Both of these things are important to me. You're important to me. Our relationships are important to me. But having an animal in my life is always going to be important to me.
Yeah, and I think I'm just having a hard time with this one because I look at this as you're offering so many great solutions and he's still saying, no, no, no. Meanwhile, there's people out there that would be allergic to cats and go through years of allergy shots to be able to live with your cat. I just don't see the point. If you love your cat, you love your animal. Like, some people's animals are their kids. Would you give up your kid to date someone? Probably not. So I just think you really got to ask yourself, but this one's really making me angry.
I can tell.
I don't know.
I
I think it's just goofy.
I'm going to give this an extra 10 seconds and then I'm going to move on to number 2. But, this is really where you guys get to really sit down and say, what is it worth to us to really have this issue? Can we work through it or not? Because I'm not willing to give up the cat. So
I think in this one, you got to stand up for yourself, stand up for your cat, move in with me with the cat, give it a go, see if it wrecks furniture. And if it doesn't, then hey, we're good.
And what happens if it wrecks furniture?
Then can't live with the cat. And then you have a tough choice to ask yourself, do we break up? Or does the cat get a new home? I wouldn't be okay with that one. But
well, let's see what they work out. But you obviously have to talk it over with one another and truly come to a meeting of the minds, which some people hate when I say it. But there is compromise. And if you can't do it, then
there might not be compromise. Let's say that.
There might not. And if you guys can't, if you can't live without the cat, and you can live without him, then that's an easy answer. If you can live with him and live without the cat, you guys will work it out. But this is something that the two of you really do have to take these difficult decisions and work with them, because in your life there's going to be a lot of difficult choices. There is going to be crossroads. And you have to be able to work through them, or otherwise no relationship will survive if you can't work through them.
All I'm saying is, if someone was writing in and saying, hey, my boyfriend asked me to get rid of my kid.
Well, they did that to me.
Yeah, exactly. And what advice would you give someone?
Well, I dumped the girl. I dumped the Dave. That was it. I don't get rid of my kids.
I'm giving the camera quite the look. Take your own advice.
And look what I got. I got the movie prize.
Okay, moving on to number 2.
Number 2.
Jeez. Hi, Jerry, Morgan, and Justin. I've been listening to Father Knows and THT since day 1, and I'm so thankful for all of you. Okay, on to my problem. I will try to keep this brief. In the past month, I had been experiencing some sudden vision loss in my right eye. Can't see out of it. After being told by my optometrist and family doctor that I was fine, I ended up in the emergency room a few days ago as it was not improving, and my fiance encouraged me to go. He came with me. Long story short, the doctor found a non-cancerous brain tumor on my CT scan, pituitary macroadenoma. I was told I would be contacted for an MRI within the following days, and a referral was sent to an endocrinologist and neurosurgeon. Obviously, this news isn't the best, but I think I was still in shock the last couple of days. Today, after still not being contacted for the MRI, I've called but can only leave messages. I've just been feeling so frustrated with this waiting game. I'm looking for advice on how to accept things for what they are and on how to be patient in this situation. I have been experiencing other health issues for years, and in a way, I'm relieved that this tumor may be causing some of them. But right now, I'm just feeling angry and defeated, and now I have to sit with this news and wait.
Tough one, Morgan.
Very.
I mean, health and getting health services. I mean, there's advocates out there that sometimes, they work with patients to try to make sure that the medical institution is really following up what their obligations are. So I would go back to your medical institution and go back and see if if there's an advocate for you, and also what the patient bill of rights are.
Advocate.
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 Advocate. Advocate.
We'll work on it.
Advocate.
You're getting closer. For sure. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the American healthcare system. I can't imagine having someone come to me and say, oh, I lost vision in my right eye, and then sending them home being like, you're good. You're good. The fact that you had to advocate for yourself so hard when you knew something was wrong, when you're having these symptoms, and then you go to the emergency room and I lost vision in my right eye, and finally they believe you, and then you find out, that you have a tumor, and then you have to call for your MRI. It is so frustrating. This is going to be one of those times that you just need to keep following up. You need to keep being on them. My mom went through this with masses on her thyroid. She was the one constantly pushing to get surgery and get all those masses and stuff removed. You have answers now. Like, that is the upside. Like, let go of the anger. Just keep pushing forward and calling, leaving messages, being a pain in their side, because that's unfortunately what it might take.
Well, and also maybe there's other health institutions you can switch.
Also, something to talk about. Yeah. Ideal outcome here, to have more information, but also on figuring out how to be patient and live my life now that I know I have this tumor. Additional info, I'm getting married in September, just like Morgan and Justin. And without a timeline, I feel like it's hard to even process what life will look like for the next few months, etc. My fiance is super supportive. We've been together for 8 years. But a part of me is worried that the stress of my surgery and trying to plan a wedding will be too much for him. My friends and family live in another province, so it's just us.
So it sounds like it's Canada.
Canada
healthcare.
Canada healthcare, which I've heard can be very frustrating as well. But
because you were bashing the American, thinking it was the American healthcare.
Our healthcare sucks.
Yeah, but apparently it's not the best everywhere either.
But at least Canada's,
it's
free.
I think you really just have to find out where you can get, the right care. And if one institution isn't working for you, see what your rights are to move on somewhere else, because obviously this is not something you want in your body any longer than it should stay there. And I don't know what kind of claims that you have against the other doctors that, didn't say anything. But there's
I'd be sending them pictures of my CT scan.
There's something
with a middle finger.
All I can say, Morgan, is that it would be wonderful if she can find out what are the implications of waiting every day.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of, that ideal outcome, to have more information, to figure out how to be patient. I don't think you need to be patient.
It's scary.
It is. It's very scary to be faced with such a big unknown. But your providers, regardless of the healthcare system and the state, country you're in, should be answering your questions. Keep calling. Like, you, as annoying, and we shouldn't have to do this, but keep calling. And I also think with this one, your health is most important. So if you're planning this big wedding, I wouldn't stress about that. Maybe get married small, just the two of you, but focus on your health first.
I think that if they can get the MRI scheduled the next couple of weeks.
September, six months away.
Yeah.
I really haven't started planning my wedding. So
I think you just, work on the most important thing right now is your health.
Absolutely.
It's like when you're on the plane, they say, we've lost cabin pressure, put on the mask.
Yeah. And
put on your mask and just breathe in and breathe out. And let's just see if we can land this plane and see what we can do next.
Yeah. But wishing you well. Keep us posted. Let us know how it goes. But keep calling them. Keep calling. I'd literally set a timer every hour. Just give them a jingle. They're going to be so sick of you. They're going to call you right back.
I think when you tell people that, that you are scared and we don't know what's going on, can you help me? This is a serious enough, thing to have found inside your head that anyone can understand. We want to get it out of there or deal with it. Morgan, let's move on to number 3.
Moving on to number 3. What number?
I thought it was 3. Is it 4?
I know. I think it's 3. Hi, Father Knows gang. I love this podcast and 2 Hot Takes. I don't speak to my dad anymore, so I found this podcast very healing. Now on to my issue. The situation happened over a year ago, but it still bothers me. I'm a 28-year-old woman, and my boyfriend, Daniel, is 34. We've been together for 2 years now, but this happened about 6 months into our relationship. One of his friends, Jake, cheated on his girlfriend of 2 years, Sophie, and he told Daniel about it. At the time, I had only met Jake and Sophie once. I was living in a different province for 2 months for a work project, so Daniel and I were long distance during this time period. Daniel told me about it when it happened, but he said he tried to discourage Jake and was upset with him for cheating. However, he ultimately felt that he couldn't control his friend's actions. Despite this, Daniel still went to a party where Jake and the woman he was cheating with were present, which really upset me. Daniel admitted he didn't feel great about going, but he said he had nothing better to do since we were long distance at the time. He claimed he was still discouraging Jake from cheating the whole time. According to him, Jake's cheating only lasted about a month and ended shortly after the party. When Daniel told me about it, I felt really uneasy knowing all of this information. He made it clear that I couldn't tell anyone, as it would break his trust with Jake and, in turn, damage our relationship. He even said it would end our relationship because it would be a betrayal of trust. I probably wouldn't have said anything anyways, since I barely knew Jake or Sophie, but the way Daniel framed it made it feel even more restrictive. I understand his perspective. It's not really his business what his friend does, and he did try to talk him out of it. Still, it felt really icky. Also, Daniel and Jake are part of a larger all-male group, and Daniel didn't want to insert himself into Jake's mistakes and risk losing his other friendships over it. Fast forward to now. I've spent time with Sophie and Jake several times, and I actually really like them both. I feel like Sophie and I could become really good friends, even outside of our relationships. Jake is also nice and funny on his own, and we've always had a good time when we hang out. However, I'm hesitant to get closer to either of them because I know about the cheating from almost 2 years ago. On one hand, I know it's not my business, but I would feel guilty growing closer to Sophie while keeping this secret from her. Their relationship does seem to be in a great place now, and I don't want to lose Sophie as a friend or be responsible for breaking them up, since the messenger often gets blamed. Ideal outcome would be that Jake had already told Sophie about the cheating, and they have already worked through it on their own, and I can become better friends with them and not be worried about keeping the secret. But honestly, I don't know what an ideal outcome would be. Even if they worked it out already, Sophie might be hurt in the future if she were to ever find out I knew and never said anything.
I'm processing it.
Okay. Yeah. Let those wheels turn. Let them turn.
The fact that they have gotten through the last 2 years and maybe not gotten through the situation because obviously Sophie doesn't even know of it, or maybe she does.
Yeah.
But they're not airing their laundry to you. So I don't know why you have to even be a part of this at this point in time. It's 2 years past.
A year and a half.
Year and a half past.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't think that it's your business to go tell Sophie at this point in time what's going on. If you were friends with Sophie at that moment and it happened and you were her, her girl, then I could see there'd be something that you knew that you'd say, this dog is really doing shit. But I don't know if I would raise anything about it today. He pulls this shit in front of you again. You can point blank say, I see you're doing this and you're not doing this to my girl.
Yeah. And
Either you tell her or I'm going to tell her.
This is stuff I really struggle with because I think most of us, all of us listening, because I know our fam, I think we try our best to just be good people and keep our side of the street clean and all that. So when you know something that is wrong and the other person doesn't, know, it's hard. I think I would maybe ask your boyfriend some questions like, hey, has Jake cheated on Sophie since? Is Jake still cheating on Sophie? Like, if that were the case, I do think she should know. Her health could be at risk. She shouldn't be with a shitty dude. Stuff, I don't know. But if he's genuinely being a good guy and hasn't cheated, maybe you don't stick your foot in it.
I got a question for you. I'm going to stop you for one moment.
Okay.
If I may. I mean, the fact that she is unaware of anything, why does she even want to know the information?
Sophie?
Not Sophie.
Oh, me. Because that would help make my decision.
I mean, right now it's past. It's old news. Why
Is it though?
It is old news right now. She doesn't know anything different.
So if you see, and that's not, I wouldn't want my best friend, or my friend, even an acquaintance, if he's cheated on her before.
Yeah.
What's to say they don't get married and he cheats again?
He's probably he could very well cheat again.
I know. So it's like, if you can
but the bottom line is
prevent hurt.
The information that first of all, she's going to her boyfriend in confidence and she's working him over to go find that information.
I would ask the questions and then I would say, hey, this is not something that's okay. I think it speaks to a bigger issue here where, honestly, if my boyfriend, my fiance, my person was like, oh yeah, my buddy's cheating on his girl. It lasted a month. It wasn't a one-time, oops, they got too drunk and slept together. This lasted a month.
Even drunk and slept together isn't.
It's not great either way.
That's not permissible.
But it's even worse that it was a month. And it's like, yeah, I was encouraging him not to cheat. But it's like, you still went and hung out with them. Like, I don't know his character, but like, to me, I'm like, I'm not feeling great. Like, is your buddy covering for you and I don't know about it? Like, that is where my mind would go. So I would sit down and have a conversation and be like, hey, like, is Jake being good to Sophie now? Like, it could help you come to a conclusion on what you want to do, is what I'm saying. And whether it's you need to tell Jake he's got to come clean, otherwise I'm going to tell Sophie. And if that hurts our relationship, then so be it. That's just, I'm not going to be that person.
Would you go to Jake and say, Jake, I know you did this?
I think you can let your boyfriend be that person. Jake told the boyfriend.
Wait a minute. The boyfriend put screws to her saying she's not allowed to talk.
I know.
So she can go to the boyfriend and say, you can go fix this then.
Yeah, she could. Yeah.
That's probably the play that I think that would be the right play. She can certainly go to him and make him disclose to the friend saying, either you tell her, if she doesn't know, you better go tell her.
Yeah. I don't think it's fair.
Or I'm done with this friendship.
I think cheating is one of those things that if you know, you should tell that person, because in their mind, they have this perfect relationship and they've been with this guy for years and this is their future. And if I found out today that Justin cheated on me, I wouldn't want to move forward, at least not in the same timeline that we are. Like, it's not to say they can't work it out and fix it, but it's not fair that she doesn't know.
I think the play really here is that she goes back to her boyfriend, make him go to Jake and come clean, or he'll go to the girlfriend or something different.
What do you feel about an anonymous letter?
Well, I've always felt that if someone doesn't sign their name to it, it's not worth the paper it's written on.
Huh. What do you guys think about a letter? What do you guys think about even telling her? Does she need to know? Am I just in my head about this and maybe my moral compass is skewed? Does it not matter? Does she not stick her foot in it?
No, but I did like the fact that if the boyfriend put the screws to her, that she puts the screws back to the boyfriend, fix it.
I mean, he threatened to break up with her if she said anything.
So she didn't. She held it.
And that's kind of manipulative.
But it's
Don't tell me.
But
you told me.
Yeah, it's his obligation now to go get everything clean. Leave her out of it. But she doesn't want to hang out with someone that has bad integrity.
And that's hard.
And his integrity right now is allowing it.
Oh, this is a tough one. I really want to see all of your comments on this one. What do you think our writer should do? Tell Sophie, make her boyfriend go to Jake. Jake needs to come clean. It's going to be tricky.
Remember there was a show, I think it was Murray Popovich or something like that. Oh no, it was also Jerry Springer did this. Jerry Springer would bring them all on the show.
Yeah.
And
R.I.P. Jerry.
Different
met
Jerry.
him.
Did you?
He was really nice. A really, really nice guy.
Where'd you meet him?
At a Chicago Blackhawks game.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Very
Great
cool.
guy.
Very cool.
Okay,
All right, let's
move
go to
on.
number 4.
Okay, this next one. Number 4.
Number 4.
My mom raised me as a sole parent. When I was an infant, however, she suffered with addiction and I was put into foster care before school age. I never knew I had a dad as there was no one other than my mom on my birth certificate and I had never heard about him. When I was 10, I got a letter from my birth father from a rehab facility. It turns out he had been an addict for the past 15 years, but had now gotten sober. It was confusing to me, but I was overall excited. I remained in foster care, though, as I had been placed in a long-term placement and I felt at home, so I did not want to leave and go live with some random person. My father lived 3.5 hours away by car, which is relevant. Fast forward to now. I am in my early 20s, and my dad has remained clean. As the years went on, I see my dad around 3 times a year, but he never really makes an effort to see me. However, I make an effort to contact him. He has turned his life around and gotten a high-paying job, has started a new family, and has 3 houses. He always brags about how much money he has, upwards of $200,000, in his bank account, which he likes to show me. I'm in nursing school, trying to get an education, living alone since 17 as I couldn't stay with my foster family, and safe to say, I am struggling. Rent here is about 60% of my income. Since I don't have the time to work full-time due to studies, I have to do an unpaid placement soon, and I've asked him to cover a portion of my rent, $100 a week. He makes $1,000 a week after taxes, so that I can stay where I am. He has told me to get a full-time job and that he won't be helping me. I'm fed up at this point because honestly, knowing who he is just disappointing. I would rather not have a dad than have a dad but not be able to have a father-daughter relationship. I'm thinking of cutting him off, but I also don't want to cause him to relapse. Am I being entitled or overreacting? Ideal outcome: clarity on whether I'm asking too much and advice on how I should proceed going forward.
It would certainly be nice if you could have get a hold of your dad and say, and she's done this. I need help. I'm struggling. I'm trying to get through nursing school. I'm trying to make something of myself. You made it very clear that, you have all this money. And I'm not saying I'm entitled to it, but it would really be wonderful if you're wishing to help me, give me a loan or do something that I can be able to live and exist.
She asked for $100 a week.
Right.
And he said, no, go get a full-time job. 3 houses,
I got
$200K in the bank account.
I got it.
What do you do?
You limit your ability of depending upon him. That's it. You can't depend upon him. He's not a participant to assist you. So you can't look at him for that. If you want to disown him, that's your opportunity. That's your decision.
Yeah.
I mean, he might think that this is, great parenting, that this is, to make it hard for you and make you drive and to make you stronger. But it may not be the right answer for you. And this is where you get to make your, where expectations and accountabilities come into effect. You would really like if he would have been kind enough to say, I'll help you. I mean, that's what, typically we do as fathers. We, even if it's a struggle, we try to do it.
Yeah.
He's not even trying to do it.
I have gotten help so many times in my life. I mean, as recent as 2020, when COVID hit, I was unable to get a job after graduating from with a prestigious degree, and it's going to open doors in healthcare. And I couldn't get a job because of COVID. And I had a California food stamp card, and my mom, despite struggling herself, was sending me $1,000 a month to live. And this person is just asking for $100 a week, and he's making $1,000. He's got $200K in the bank account. He's happy to brag about it. He didn't pay child support or what sounds like assist you.
Nothing.
When he should,
None of the
as
above.
a parental obligation. I mean, it's not really about the money. And I know, some would be like, yeah, no, you're cutting him off over $100 a week. But it's like, no, it's not about that. It's that he's so self-centered and selfish and delusional, and he doesn't care for my well-being. I mean, it's understandable that you would rather not have a dad than have a dad but not be able to have a father-daughter relationship. And there's not really a relationship if you're the one always reaching out, if there's no effort on his end, and you're asking for support, a little bit of extra help.
A little help.
As you're grinding. It's not like you're not doing anything, right? It's not like you're
just taking it.
Living in, your mom's place and not working. You're grinding. You're working, full-time student, trying to get a nursing degree to set yourself up, and you can't even be bothered to help me?
I think it's pretty easy.
I wouldn't want a relationship with him either, and I think that's so fair for you.
Will certainly alter your relationship. That's really, with the fact that you can count on him, you can't.
No.
That's really what it's about.
No, and I feel like for him, addiction is really hard. It is a disease, but you are not responsible for his sobriety. He's an adult.
He's not worried about you eating.
Mic drop right there. Like, don't worry about him.
He's not worried about you. Just can't worry about him.
You deserve so much more than this. You have gone through such trying times as a child, and look at how far you've come and what you're doing for your life and your future. Absolutely amazing. So don't bring energy like this into your life. You reaching out to him is probably an ego boost for him. He sounds extremely self-centered, maybe a bit narcissistic. I don't know. Not a psychiatrist. Psychologist, but it's giving something. I can't even imagine. I'm like, he should be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed showing your kid your $200K bank account and then not helping them just make it through school. It's kind of shameful.
Okay.
That's just my thoughts. Woo. But keep us posted. Very excited for you in nursing school. Please update us with how things go.
Number 5.
Hi, Dad, Morgan, and Justin. I, 29 female, have been with my husband, 28 male, for almost 10 years. When we got together, we were young and had very little experience dating in a healthy way and with life in general. Around our 9-year mark of being together, my husband, I'll call him T, and I had a conversation about our wants and needs and experiences, which led to the topic of sexual orientation and feeling like we missed out on a lot of experiences in our 20s, and the way we feel about each other. We decided, mutually, to experiment with polyamory and date other people while still maintaining our marriage, which is going incredibly well for our relationship. This brings me to my issue. I've been dating my boyfriend B for a while now and have very strong feelings for him, and T has been dating his girlfriend K for a while now, and they seem to have a very strong relationship as well. I've always been very close with my dad. However, we live in different states. We've always maintained consistent contact since we reconnected when I was around 21. Divorced parent problems. And he is so good to my husband. That being said, he is also quite traditional when it comes to most things, including relationships. I really want to share this part of my life with him because I'm incredibly happy with my boyfriend in addition to my marriage, and I feel like they would get along really well. But I'm afraid of him being disappointed or judging me and it causing problems in our relationship. Additionally, my stepmother already doesn't like me and has caused some strain on the relationship with my father when I was a young kid, which I've been better at dealing with in adulthood, but this feels like too big of a deal to overcome negative feelings from my father that may be exacerbated by his wife. I want to be open and honest with my dad because I love him and he's the person I want to talk to about everything. But I'm so scared that this will be too much for him and he thinks I'm weird or gross or that it means I've failed in my marriage. Ideal outcome, to be able to be honest with my dad and maintain our relationship with him being happy with me so my boyfriend can meet my family the way I get to meet his. He's not poly, so I'm the only partner he's introducing to family. Additional info: I'm a really anxious person, so I could be overthinking the entire thing, but my dad is typically super laid back, and I've never seen him be reactionary or overly emotional in either way, positive or negative.
First of all, the polyamorous relationships are out there. It's out of my pay grade.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the dynamics, and I think
And
it's very relationship specific.
and that being said, what's the end game for you? And the end game is meaning if you're going to have a relationship where you're going to have both men in your life on a long term, then it might be interesting. You then it's okay to introduce people to your family. But if this guy is a temporary gig and you're going to introduce him to the family because he's part of your life, he may not be a long-term player. So, you got to also think about how does this affect the family dynamic? And especially if your dad is not, you know, um, really on this life choice, then it may not be the most wise thing to do. Because you're bringing people in to be friendships, and then if you break up with the guy, what happens to the friendships that you've done with your family?
I mean, you could say the same though about her husband if they got divorced.
Well,
A lot of people take divorce as we are done, you are no longer family. So
so what is the commitment here between all these people?
it's hard, and it's hard to know without literally being able to ask, like, hey, what is the end game? Is this the end game for you? You stay with your husband forever and you both just have additional partners? Like, is that end game?
Or and is this fella that you're now seeing going to be your 40-year partner sitting on the side of your husband? Why he's your husband?
Yeah. I mean, people can make this work. It's not impossible, but I definitely think there's probably a hierarchy, right? For a lot of people in poly relationships where
Mhm.
it's like, okay, my husband comes first, then my boyfriend. Like, I would choose my husband first.
So does the father get to have a choice before he meets the person where you go to your dad and say, Dad, I want you to know that I have an unusual relationship with Dave. We got married young. We've explored this. We are in a polyamorous relationship. He's got a girlfriend that we're still living together, but Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays he's with Betty, and I'm with Henry Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we don't know if this is going to be for the rest of our lives or for another 20 weeks.
You could do that. I mean,
And then give your dad the
yeah.
opportunity of saying, I'm okay. I'm glad to bring him in, and we can all be a part of this relationship. But I'd give him that heads up first.
You could definitely give him a choice in the matter. I think that's fair. I also think it is an interesting thing because it's like you want to share your other boyfriend because you're excited and this is a part of your life and you feel like you shouldn't have to hide a part of your life. But at the same time, is this really anyone else's problem? Does anyone else deserve to have their life complicated? And does it complicate anyone's life? Or is it
Maybe not.
irrelevant because it doesn't directly affect them? But what's the harm in them knowing? It's a complicated issue.
The one thing that we pride here, and when I talk to people, is I don't have any judgment upon you.
No, teach their own.
So I'm not judging you by saying, anything other than the fact that I think it would just give your dad the right. If you're willing to go bring the fella in front of your dad, just do it in a step. The first step is let him know that it's coming his way and if he's open to it or not. And you can just tell him exactly what you said. Dad, you're important to me. I love you and I want you to be a part of every part of my life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hide something, and I'm hoping you won't be judgmental upon me, but this is what's going on.
If this is something that is still a little more recent, like you've only been dating for 2 months,
Mhm.
maybe wait until you hit the 9-month mark or a year, because I think that can make a difference.
Mhm.
And you have to imagine the worst case scenario, right? Like when I'm faced with really challenging things, that's what I try to do. Like, okay, worst case scenario here is your dad is uncomfortable with it. It hurts your relationship and you don't talk as much. Like, is that something you're willing to face right now for the time you've been with your boyfriend in order to share that you have a boyfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you wait a little longer? Make sure it's serious. Make sure you and your husband aren't going to, close the relationship again. And then, after a year, then you tell your dad. This guy, your boyfriend, could wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I actually don't want to share you. I'm not okay with this, because he's not poly. So,
Mm-hmm.
You're facing a lot of new dynamics. And while you might be excited to share, maybe wait it out a little bit more too.
I think so.
Because we don't know how long they've been dating. We just have for a while now.
Because 2 months is nothing.
Yeah, no mention of time. So
let us know how it went.
People are going to be in the comments. Maybe there's some out there that have gone through this themselves and can chime in. But moving on to number 6 for us.
Number 6.
Hi, all. I've been listening to THT and Father Knows throughout college, and it has truly been something that has kept me going through these 4 years. I am graduating in the spring and would love your opinions and advice on some roommate issues. I think maybe my roommate is slowly copying me.
Ooh.
For some context, my roommate, I'll call her A, moved into our apartment this past fall as a third-year transfer. She's very sweet and extroverted, but I wouldn't consider us best friends.
And she's copying you.
After a few months of living together, I've been noticing some behavior that mimics mine, and I can't tell if I'm going crazy. The first instance was a random weekend I decided to walk to a coffee shop nearby our apartment to get some work done. I did not see her that morning, so I hadn't told her where I was going, but she does have my location. Not even 20 minutes after I arrived, she came in and sat down at a different table to do some work. She eventually saw and acknowledged me, but I later left to find a different shop with charging areas. When I went home, she again arrived 20 minutes after I did. I questioned why she was at that coffee shop. She admitted it was her first time ever going, and she just had the idea to go. Another instance was a time when I had posted an Instagram story showing off my stir-fried udon. I packed it up and left no trace at home, but I knew she had seen parts of that on my Instagram story. Later that day, my other roommate, B, told me that A had made some stir-fried udon, and when she asked if she had seen me make it earlier that day, she said no. The weird thing is, I have never seen her make stir-fried udon before, and she cooks fairly often. Lastly, today, B told A I was going to get Korean rice cakes with some friends, and suddenly, A gets the idea to make Korean rice cakes at home. I know these coincidences might seem like just coincidences, but I can't help feeling overly suspicious of her actions. Do I approach her about it, or just let it go? Is this weird, or am I just overthinking? Any advice is appreciated.
Well, it's the highest compliment that she could possibly give you. She's trying to live your life.
It is
In
a
your
little
shadow.
uncomfortable, though, yeah?
So, I thought you could set her up for, put some things out there that aren't really going to happen, but let her trick herself into going to do them just for fun. But maybe rather than tease somebody, just point blank confront them.
Yeah.
Say, what is the deal? It's okay if you want to do that, but is there a reason for it? And maybe she'll fess up to it and say, it's just, I just love the fact that you have such a great life, or you're so this, or you're so, and see what comes out. Rather than playing the game, I always believe in a direct confrontation, but make it a nice one.
I'm getting the vibe she just wants to be your friend and is going about it in a very odd way.
Yeah.
Is it uncomfortable? Yeah. Is this how I would recommend making friends? No, and it's weird. It is weird. And you could test her to really make sure she's copying you. I don't think you need to, though. These are very strange coincidences. It's clear she's copying you.
Well,
but I think there's a reason.
What's wrong with this having the direct conversation with her?
And so that's what I think you can say. You can say, hey, it's kind of odd that I seem to make this food and then you make it right after, or you hear I'm getting something and then you do it yourself. Like, is there a reason? Are you just like really interested in that? Or like, do you want to come with me sometime? Like, I don't know. Like, you could extend a branch.
As you do it, you can't do it where she's embarrassed by it. You have to really do it where you're just trying to understand it and that you're her friend. And let's see if she comes clean. And if she doesn't come clean, then set her up that you're gonna go, that you want to go fishing tomorrow, and see if you find her at the fishing boat and you're not there.
You're graduating in a couple months, chalk it up as a weird roommate situation and move on. But I think this is someone that's just looking to make a friend and is doing it in a very weird way. And if it gets to be worse, where she's dressing like you, cutting her hair like you, then yeah, that's not okay. That's kind of feeling almost like a stalker. But
I'd have the
it's
conversation.
all around food and showing up at a coffee shop. And honestly, stop sharing your location with her. Like, if that's something that makes you feel uncomfortable, don't share your location with her. Like, there's really, for someone you're not, for someone you're not super close friends with, I don't think that's necessary to do.
I agree.
So
there's number 6
about it. Yeah.
Number 7.
I know. I have a 7 today.
All right.
Dear Jerry, Justin Morgan, and the rest of THT and Father Knows Something fam, I am a 22-year-old trans man living in a red state. I'm writing in because I'm lost and I'm scared. You don't have to share this on the podcast, but you totally can. As you know, politics lately have not taken well to many minorities. I know that trans people are not alone in the fear of living in this country. I was supposed to have top surgery on March 3rd of this year. Unfortunately, due to the current political climate, my insurance continues to deny my surgery. To say my depression has gotten worse is an understatement. I can barely look at myself in the mirror, and thoughts I haven't had in years have crept back in. The fact that I can't be who I am has broken me a bit. I am in therapy and just trying to make it day by day. I guess I'm writing in because I know I'm not alone, but I think I need to be reminded, and I think others do too. Jerry, you have lived a lot more life than I have. Do you think there's any hope? Right now, I struggle to see any. I'm scared for what could happen. Ideal outcome? Honestly, my ideal outcome would be to feel safe and feel like there is hope in this country. I would like to not feel so alone.
This is something that when you are committed or you believe that this is something that you want to do, you can't give up. But what you can do is you can get the hell out of Texas. That's where it is. I mean, there are places that you can go that you're not going to have these difficulties of living in these judgments.
Yeah.
So, look, I understand the need that when you look at your body that you want to have, everything in place.
Yeah, you want to see who you feel you are in the mirror.
In the meantime, you also can't give up on what your dream is, and you'll get there, but you have to keep struggling a little harder. Some people's dream is to be a doctor. Some people's dream is to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give up on that dream. Just work every day to make the dream real.
Yeah.
And you'll get there.
It will happen. And, I fully believe gender affirming care is healthcare. And a lot of people are like, well, you shouldn't, it's just changing so much. It's like, people get nose jobs. That's gender affirming care. Yeah, you had multiple nose jobs. Look at that beautiful nose you have now.
It's so fucked up.
People get their lips done. Women get breast implants because they want to feel more womanly. Like, there's so many different things that are gender affirming care. And I will say right now, like, this is temporary. You will get your top surgery. Don't feel like it's...
Don't feel defeated.
Don't feel defeated. Don't feel like it's, not... And I can't even imagine, feeling like, maybe I'm implying a lot here because I don't know, but maybe feeling like you're trapped in a body that's not yours yet. And I imagine that would be a struggle, but like, don't let that stop you from feeling who you truly are inside. It will come. You got to be hopeful. I mean, I think we've talked about this quite a bit where it's like, God, the world feels so fucked up. But the world felt fucked up in the 60s. It felt fucked up in the 80s. And
The world's been fucked up for thousands of years.
I mean, imagine, like, think about ancient Rome and
go back and go back in world history, and you'll see it's been a problem for thousands and thousands.
The Holocaust. We've got genocides going on right now all over the world. I mean, it is heavy, but I do think the pendulum does swing forward, and we will get better. And
focus on your life, focus on yourself, focus on your friends.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do. And everything else will come, because the people, even though you're having a tough time accepting, what you look like and your body looks like, your friends are only going to see you. And the biggest enemy you have right now is yourself. So make friends with yourself.
With yourself, with other people, find a good support network. I did see in the additional outcome that they are in therapy, which is amazing. But find other people you can connect with, And
if you are finding hostility where you live, it's pick yourself up, pack your bags, and move somewhere else.
I know. And I know that is like, a lot of people would say like that is a privilege to be able to do. Like you might not be able to afford it right now, but maybe that is a priority for you. Like maybe you do start saving and you move to a city that more aligns with you. And
when you're having thoughts, Morgan, if you want to be alive and or move, take B. Do whatever it takes to move.
Yeah, we need you here.
That's it.
Anyone out there that's struggling, mental health is something I think a lot of people are struggling with right now. And rightfully so. World is hard. I mean, life feels like it's unaffordable for a lot of people. Like it's not easy for a lot of people out there, but we need you guys. So look after yourself, take care of yourselves. So it's a good time to check in with friends. If you're out there listening and you're like, I haven't checked in with my friend in a while, I miss them. Reach out to them today. It really starts with us and our circles and our communities. So really, really look after each other and be the change you wish to see in the world. Or whatever that happy saying is. That's Maya Angelou, maybe? I don't know. Put a happy quote in the comments today. I'd love that. Spread some cheer.
Well, guys, that's it for this weekend for us.
Yeah, it's 11 p.m. Dad's falling asleep over here.
Dad's had a long, long day. He didn't sleep well last night.
I'm hitting my second wind. I could go again.
And I didn't get coffee today. No coffee.
Wow.
And I'm feeling a little lack of coffee pain.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yes, Dad's going to go home and go to bed.
Good night for Dad. Thank you all so much for being here. Head over to Patreon. We've got some amazing stuff this month. You're having a good time in the backyard this month, huh?
We are, yeah.
Yeah. We've got group tea coming up.
When?
It is officially being scheduled for Sunday, March 23rd.
Okay.
So Dad will start first. He'll have some private time, and then we go into THT and we read some Reddit stories.
Yeah, and we're going to have a friend of Dad's come on Group T as well. And she's going to have some fun things to tell people. So this is a surprise. So if you want to have a fun time on Group T,
come join us.
Come join us. It's going to be a fun one.
But other than that, show us some love in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts. Tell a friend. And until next time.
Good night.
Bye, guys.